Welcome to Envato Tuts Plus Premium. This course is titled Creating Vector Art, and this lesson is Layering Hierarchy. Now, within any type of vector file, whether you're working on a design-oriented project or an illustrative-oriented project, such as these videos are going over, it's important to layer your content in such a way that you create an easy-to-navigate hierarchy of information. So as you'll see in this video, we kind of compartmentalized aspects of the illustration in order to allow us the ability to easily toggle on and off layers to access content. This makes building go a whole lot faster, and if you come back to a file later on, it's going to make it easy to understand. You'll know what you did and why you did that. It's going to and if you share your files, it makes it easier for somebody to use them. So all of that is what you'll benefit from by using a layering hierarchy. If you build all on one layer, it can make it very hard to access content that's underneath other objects and elements and effects. So that's what this video is all about. Okay, now we have all of our base vector art completed. That means all the core fundamental basic shapes for everything we need to create moving forward has already been worked out. We have all the vector shapes needed to colorize to move forward. It's at this point that I like to select all the shapes. I clone them. In this case, I have my F3 key program. But you can do it Command C, Command F, clone, and then I group them. Once I have them grouped, I move them to my storage layer. Now, let me show you right now in my storage layer, I have a few things already there. I have my flame shapes and the shape of the head. Usually as I build, I'll copy the content and place it there. So now that I have a copy of all my vector paths, I'll just move them up into the storage layer. So if you now go to storage, you'll see a copy of the base shapes. I do that because it's insurance. I might go back and pull something later, and it's just a good creative habit to get into. But now that I have all my basic shapes, as you can see here, everything ready to build, everything in the beard is all ready to go. Everything else. Now these are the exact shapes I'm going to use, but I'll want to kind of base them in a hierarchy of shapes, basically putting them in the levels so when I start building color, it's just easier to manage. And you can do this as you build color. I like to do it beforehand. So right now I have a build layer. The layer above that is empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create that as, we'll just call it the flames. So it's the flames coming out of his head, and we'll do that. And I'll turn that layer off actually. I'll select just the flames, and then I'll move those up, and I keep it off just so when they disappear then I know it's worked. Now these are like the interior detail of the flames. On these I'll go ahead and select those. I'll want to group them just so it'd be easier to manage and copy those to layers. So now that's all I'm going to do for each of these type of components. I'm going to take the time to create a new layer. I prefer having my color to blue. I feel the contrast works better. And this one we'll just call wings, and we'll just move our wings there like this and like that. Move that there. And so I'm just creating a hierarchy of information that is just going to make it easier to manage all my content as I start building the color. So this one, we'll create one, just call it beard. There we go. And move that to that layer. So you can see how this will enable me to, if I'm working on the beard, just focus on the beard. Work on the wings, just focus on the wings. And as you start layering content, it just makes it easier to go on. I like putting the eyes and the making sure each of the eyeballs are we'll do this, and we'll put that above the beard, and we're going to do eyes and nose and ears all on this level. So put the eyes there first, select the ears, the ears there, and actually we're going to group the liver spots. Sounds like a band, the Liver Spots. A band in an old folks home. Select the nose. Actually, I just realized I'm going to have to still create the detail on the bottom of the nose. I forgot to do that, so oops. So now we have the nose, eyes, and ears on their own layer, and I also like to make the mouth on its own layer. So we'll create a new one for the mouth. And we want the mouth below the nose because we might do some nice shading on the nose, and that obviously has to be above the mouth. So we'll select all the base shapes, lips, and the interior. Move that up, turn that off, and on. Actually, first we're going to do the back. So within the layering of each individual layer, you want the hierarchy right too. So the inside of the mouth is behind the tongue, and then we'll move the teeth up. Now basically all that, I think I'm also going to put the eyebrows on the eye layer now that I think about it. And since we have hair on its own layer, we'll put that on the beard layer. And we'll change the build layer. We'll call it face base. And we'll create a layer right above it, and we're going to call that face detail. And so the face base, the detail is all of these elements. The bags and the eyes. Move those up. And move those up. Shading on the cheek, we'll move that up. And this is to get some depth underneath the chin, since the cheeks are actually closer to you in the foreground. This will help us to create the illusion of a sunken kind of face. So that's part of the face detail, so we'll move that up. Obviously the wrinkle lines, we'll move that up. And this is behind everything, so we'll move that up and send it behind. So we have all the base shapes, and now this is the face base, and this is kind of what I do now to prepare all my core vector shapes to move to the next step, which is coloring. So it's a good creative habit to get into, and this makes it easier to come back later and edit things if you need to. So we're now going to begin the whole fun part of bringing life to this illustration through color.